you go.
So I'm Andy Smith. I'm with Texas Historical Commission here at San Jacinto Battleground State Historic Site, and we do cannon demonstrations. We use this 1841 mountain howitzer, which is a little outside our time period, but it's one we inherited and is very easy to use, very safe to use. And we use this to demonstrate cannons and explain some of the aspects of the Battle of San Jacinto and the skirmish on April 20th. There were 3 cannons at San Jacinto, the Battle of San Jacinto. 1 on the Mexican side, 2 on the Texan side. The 2 that were on the Texan side were donated by the citizens of Cincinnati, and they were called the Twin Sisters. The 1 on the Mexican side was part of the Mexican Army and actually predates Mexico and was a Spanish cannon called El Volcan, and it actually had engraved on it firebolts from the offended king in Spanish, or Latin actually. And so that was brought from Mexico all the way here as part of Santa Anna's advance into Texas to put down the revolution. At San Jacinto particularly, Santa Anna only grabbed a small portion of his army and moved very quickly, so he only brought 1 cannon with him. He had a lot more cannon as part of his army, but here at San Jacinto there were just the 3 cannons. So the cannons played a significant role in all battles in the Texas Revolution, but especially at San Jacinto. They were able to use to control the battlefield, and in the case of El Volcan, it was knocked out very early in the battle or could have potentially done a lot more damage. Some of the archaeology and the history afterwards shows that the effectiveness of the Twin Sisters, the 2 Texan cannons, played a significant role in that day. It's often referred to as 18 minutes of glory, or 18 minutes battle. The Texans advanced from the area of the ship channel, what was then at the time Buffalo Bayou. They advanced this way with those 2 cannons and fired at the Mexican breastworks and at the Mexican cannon, taking it out pretty early on in the fight. So these cannons, all of them are very similar. The technology didn't change much. This one, again, is an 1841 mountain howitzer, but it would have been very similar in how you operated it to the cannons that were at site. You would have cleaned it with the worm, made sure there was nothing in the barrel. So you'd ram this down, spin that, and as you can see, that would have gotten any debris out. And then you would have sponged it. You had a little water bucket up here. You dip that in water and you sponge that down, and that cleans out the barrel and puts out any embers and makes sure that it's clean and ready to go. Then you would have had ammo box sitting away. You would advance to charge, which is basically powder in a canvas or silk bag. That charge would have been placed in the barrel and then rammed down the barrel and seated at the very base of the cannon. Right? Now, in combat, in a real firing, you would have had the round, either cannonball or canister shot. We have a lot of evidence that a lot of canister shots were used here. That would have been loaded. Once that's loaded, you have a brass rod that you prick that bag, the ammo bag that's in there, the actual powder bag that's in there. You prick that, punch a hole in it so you have a straight path of fire. And then they would have used a quill primer, and it's a quill that's basically full of gunpowder, and you put that in, and then we would have had a match that you touch that in when it's ready to fire. That lights that quill, pushes the fire into that hole that you created, that space you created in the powder bag in there, igniting that powder bag, and then that rapid expansion would push the round out. And then you would repeat the process and fire and fire and fire. A good cannon crew could do that a couple of times a minute, easily. The only restriction is how much ammo they have and how often they have to move the cannon. To move the cannon, to re-aim it, or to aim it in a particular direction, you would have had, this can move it side to side, right? And then you would have a screw elevator right here to drop it and lower it.
There you go.